This is Let Us Interrupt You podcast, episode 16 here on Saturday, January 22nd, 2022. In the mix now of watching the AFC Division Round playoff game and what was a terrible day for Ryan Tannehill as a quarterback, throwing three key interceptions that really, let's be honest, the last one here may as well have cost him the game because it was thrown into quadruple coverage. One of the Bengals just made the interception. I don't know who it was that just made the interception. It happened so fast, and I don't think they even showed a replay of it. They showed a replay of the girl's reaction, though, just in basic shock and just disappointment and like heartbreak because she knows that's it. And this is on a 3rd and 5, by the way. They are showing the replay of the game as of right now. Tannehill, I think he was trying to get it to I don't know if it was to Brown or Jones. I couldn't tell. I think it was to Julio Jones, I think. They're showing Jones on the picture. I don't know. They're trying to set up I don't know. The Bengals are trying to set up for overtime here. I'd say try McPherson. He's been nailing it from 55 yards in this game up to this point right now. If no one knows, by the way, the Bengals are tied right now with the Titans at 16 with about 9 seconds left. Right now, this will be a first right now for the Bengals. This will be the first road win in their postseason in the franchise history. And if Tennessee were to win, well, this would be the first time they ever host an AFC title game in their franchise's history. So there you go. There's some little newsworthy factors going into this whole thing. But it just seems like now they're just setting up McPherson now to kick the field goal because they're at the 32-yard line. So Burrow's going to try to run it again. He's trying to spot it. At this point, it's setting up for would be now a 50-yard field goal, as Zach Taylor just called a timeout for the Bengals with about 3 seconds left. We will highlight this game, make predictions for the other games. You know what? We might as well just make predictions right now for the other games that are coming up later on tonight. Tonight, you get the 49ers at the Packers. By the way, if you're noticing someone who's missing here, it's Mike. Mike is not here, but he did say, "What's up?" Anyway. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but I did mention that in the little comments section right now that I wrote down the little video info on this. I apologize for the bad quality of video in here. I'm doing this from my countertop, actually, and the lighting here is not that great. And it's a little dark in here, too, and I need to get a new camera, so I do apologize for that. Anyway, so the picks right now, I mean, obviously today, right now, the Bengals I picked today, obviously, to beat the Tennessee Titans today because I can't stand Tannehill, and Tannehill's just a choke artist quarterback. So that was one of my picks today right now that's working out good. The 49ers are playing the Packers later on tonight, and if I had to say who wins that one, and McPherson just drilled it. So as of right now, the Cincinnati Bengals have won their first postseason game in franchise history. That's a big one. That's a big one in of itself. Right there for the Bengals. They'll be facing the winner of the Bills-Chiefs game tomorrow. Bengals win 19-16. Time expiring. So Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I will say this, though. It was a little nerve-wracking at first. I thought they were going to blow this game. But anyway, so the Bengals got the win there. I'm now 3-4 my playoff picks so far, even though I didn't see Cincinnati go into the AFC title game this year. But, hey, anything could happen in these playoffs, right? Anyway, back to my what I was saying beforehand. The 49ers are playing at the Packers tonight at 8:15, which they actually start in about 45 minutes. I got to say, I got to take the Green Bay Packers. I trust them more in this game. I know Bose is going to be back in the game. I know Warner will be in the game. It's tough because Green Bay's 0-3 in playoff games against the 49ers. But here's my opinion. The 49ers, to me, look like a team right now that is going to get as far as they're going to get with Jimmy G. Jimmy G had a nice run. He got his trade value up. I don't think their offense is ready for that defense. I think their defense is going to do so much to confuse this guy, and Garoppolo wasn't even great in the last game, and the 49ers got lucky. They're not going to get lucky twice, okay? They're not going to go into Lambeau Field and beat the Packers. Yes, they've done it before, but they did it with a much better superb coaching in Jim Harbaugh. Kyle Shanahan, I don't think is a well commodity right now of a great coach. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a great manipulator when it comes to offensive teams, but is he good in big clutch situations? Not really. He's not really a guy I would want to rely on in a division round game on the road in this scenario going up against Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers. in Lambeau Field. I just wouldn't want to depend on that guy. And if you're going to really say right now who on that team right now can cover Davante Adams, name me. If anybody in that out there can actually put in the comment section who can cover Davante Adams on that 49er team, let me know. Because I don't see one decent defensive back covering Adams in that game. It's going to be about Aaron Rodgers throttling the ball. They're not going to be able to run against this 49er team anyway. But yeah, the Packers will win that one. Tomorrow will be the Rams versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Everybody will be pretty much be back tomorrow. Leonard Fournette will be back for the Bucs. Andrew Whitworth, left tackle, and safety Taylor Rapp, both out for the game for the Rams. In my opinion here, I'm not going to bet against Tom Brady. The Buccaneers are good at home. That defense is going to be all over the place against that Ram offensive line. They're going to expose that left tackle side. Whitworth has been a really good blocking for them. The fact they're going to miss him is going to be a big key here for this matchup here. I got the Bucs winning this game at home easily. I think this game will be close, but it won't be by a touchdown plus a field goal if I had to put a score on it right now. But I'm not going to do a score here. Bucs win big and they advance to Green Bay for the NFC title game. AFC title game will be the Buffalo Bills taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Winner will be facing the Cincinnati Bengals, who just upset the Titans. The Titans, by the way, who've really never been good at home to begin with in playoff games. I can't remember the last time they've won a home playoff game besides that the miracle fake lateral pass that happened a long time ago. That was a huge debate. But anyway, as I was saying, going back to the Bills-Chiefs game, who I think would win that particular game, I got to go with the Buffalo Bills. I got to go with a hot hand here. Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills so far have been the best team in the playoffs, in my opinion. The way they stomped on New England, the way they exposed New England in that game. And Kansas City, there's not really much to expose really on that team. I think Patrick Mahomes right now is going to try to do too much here. Andy Reid's is going to mess with the time management here. Sean McDermott's starting to have a coming out party right now. That Buffalo Bill team is dangerous as far as I'm concerned. If I'm Kansas City right now, I'm afraid of this team a little bit. I'm just saying. They're starting to figure out at this point. And I think they're going to figure out how to defend Tyreek Hill pretty well and Travis Kelce. And I just look at Kansas City. They just can't run. They can't run against this team. I think the secondary will be able to shut down Hill is good enough and Kelce good enough here. It's going to be up to the other role players to come out. And I just can't see Kansas City's role players being really good in this game, if not better than the two starting guys, because they rely on them so much. So I gotta go with the Buffalo Bills here. It's gonna be close though, but I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills here. Probably last second field goal. So that is the nightcap right now of the playoff games right now. I will give you the highlights as of now for the playoff game that is having to take place today with the Tennessee Titans and the Cincinnati Bengals. That game started out as a very boring game. I will say that about that game. It was very boring in the beginning. It was not one of those thrilling things. It was going to be thrilling. It was going to be a thrilling game to get into here. I thought it'd be like a high-scoring game because neither defense is really great here. But it was a defensive battle, surprisingly. This was a very surprisingly defensive battle type of game. And especially when you have to look at the perspective going into this game, right? Everybody figured, well, you got Joe Burrow. Tennessee's secondary is not that great anyway. You got Jamar Chase that can go out there and expose that defense, really expose the safety play. But it didn't feel like that today. It didn't get to that second gear for whatever reason. I'm having trouble getting on the page here. I want to be able to look at this on my laptop while I'm recording this. And here we go. We are getting somewhat of a response here. I will get the Gamecast on here. I am reading this off the ESPN thing here. I'm just not sure why it's giving me a frozen computer here. Then again, my Wi-Fi here is not that great, so I apologize right now. I have a weak signal. No wonder why. No wonder why. Stand by right now at this point. I might be able to get this to work. If not, I'll just use my phone. I'll try not to look down at the screen. I've been told I've been looking down too much at my phone, like one of those people that go like this in their phone constantly. But I will put this to a side. Well, actually, it's probably better off, actually, because I can't even get a signal on here to begin with. But here it is. Here is the highlights of this game as of right now. Bengals did get the win 19-16. They are now going to the AFC title game. Joe Burrow was money today. 28 for 37, 348 yards, one pick, not really a touchdown thrown in this game. He threw 2 touchdowns last week against the Raiders. Mixon had 14 carries for 54 yards and a touchdown, including 1 big touchdown run that extended their lead. They got a 16-yard run. And I wouldn't say it's a big touchdown run, but for what he got today to start the game out today, going into halftime, he only had 5 carries for 5 yards going into halftime. I'm just telling you, like that's how it happened. In the second half, he came out. He had a coming out party. Really, this game got started out. I'm actually going to go on a limb here, and this is how the first play started. This is play-by-play here of how this happened right now. First play of the drive, first thing that happened with Ryan Tannehill, they get the ball, throws an interception right to Bates at the 42-yard line, so there was no gain there. That led to a field goal. Later on, the Titans had a 3-and-out, and the Bengals then had a 3-and-out. The Titans once again had a drive going. In fact, at one point, I'm pretty sure they had a Henry didn't really get far enough to run there, but there was a lot of actually that was the first position I'm looking at. I'm sorry. So here it is here. Tannehill had a pass to Julio Jones for 11-yard gain. Henry had a run for 8 yards. Henry had another run for 3 yards. Not really much of a productive day for Derrick Henry. As good as he is, he's trying his best. You know, he's playing with like a plate right now in his ankle right now and like 5 anchors in his foot. I mean, this guy is trying to be a tank right now at this point. Anyway, so that happened to start out. Tannehill threw an incomplete pass. Then Tannehill threw another incomplete pass, and it led to a 4th down here. It just led to a series of punts here. Bengals were able to connect with a field goal. They were up 6-0. Later on in the second quarter right now, this was a drive to start from the 16-yard line. A.J. Brown got a 41-yard pass from Tannehill. Henry again ran for 3 yards. Henry again ran for another 4 yards. Tannehill threw a short left pass to Hilliard for a 3-yard gain. Tannehill threw a pass short right to Julio Jones for right to the Cincinnati 14-yard line. And then after that, there's a few plays later. Direct snap, Derrick Henry ran in for 3 yards for a touchdown. And now the game is tied at 6-6. They did try to go for a 2-point conversion. It did not work. It failed miserably. Derrick Henry ran to the right side, and he just could not get anything going. This team has just been – they just were not getting anything going. They had another Bengals kicked another field goal. It's 9-6. Later on, I'm going to fast forward here to right as the Bengals were driving. They're at the 16-yard line. First play at the red zone. Mixon runs it for 16 yards. The game is now 16-6. Anyway, so the Titans do another interception. Tannehill was at the Bengals 10-yard line. First play of that one after Foreman ran for about 40 yards down the field. He throws an interception to Mike Hilton. We got down to the 40-yard line, but it was called back for Eli Apple's taunting. It was called an unsportsmanlike conduct, but let's be honest, that stupid taunting rule. Anyway, that led to a Joe Burrow. I believe that led to it led to a 3-and-out there. Titans got a punt. Later on, Joe Burrow, first play of his current drive, like Tannehill had earlier, he threw an interception in this game. Joe Burrow, by the way, despite the fact he threw for 348 yards, he was sacked nearly 10 times in this game. At one point, the offensive lineman just got in in a little ready to take a dump position and just let Burrow take a hit at one point. He was trying to move and he got nailed from behind. But this was the best defensive game plan that they could have came up against with this guy and just came right at the quarterback, but it wasn't enough. That led to a Tannehill A.J. Brown connection for 33 yards for a touchdown. Game is now tied at 16-16. Later on, last chance for the Titans. Tannehill throws the interception, and it leads to a McPherson 54-yard field goal. The Bengals get the field goal, as I said earlier. Bengals get the win 19-16. So I know I'm highlighting this game again, but I'm going to give you the play-by-play of how that game turned out. So that's that. But yeah, the Bengals did advance. And listen, Tennessee, look, they shocked a lot of people this year. The fact they were the number 1 seed towards the end of the year, they got where they needed to be at that point. They got lucky because let's be honest, if New England didn't lose those last few games, Tennessee would probably ended up being like a 3rd or 4th seed, and they would have ended up facing the Raiders. They probably would have beaten the Raiders. Let's be honest. They probably would have beaten the Raiders. But for how that game turned out in the end for them and how Tannehill once again blew it, he threw 3 interceptions in this game. Crucial interception. And granted, the offensive line did the best job they could have done today into protecting this guy in the pocket. I mean, to only allow 1 sack in the game, I mean, what can you do? I mean, there's not much you can do here in this game. That right there is when you need to know that Ryan Tannehill is not your quarterback in the playoffs. He's not the guy you're going to rely on in the playoff game. By the way, his stats were today ended up being 15 for 24, 220 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Derrick Henry in his return, 20 carries for 62 yards. I got to be honest here. You know, a lot of people were saying Derrick Henry was playing hurt. He wasn't at 100%. He wasn't full throttle Derrick Henry. I see no difference in this guy's speed whatsoever. You know what I saw today? A conservative team that wanted to rely on the younger guys. They wanted to rely on Foreman. They wanted to rely on Hiller. They wanted to rely on a lot of people today. A.J. Brown, for one thing, 5 catches for 442 yards and a touchdown today. Great. Julio Jones, 6 catches for 62 yards today. Great. That's great. They did their part, right? To me, this was a game where it was too much conservatism, too much rely on Ryan Tannehill, too much Ryan Tannehill in this game plan today. And I got to be honest, I don't know why they were doing that. You talk about a game plan that really reeked from the word go. They ran the ball 27 times. I get that. They passed the ball 24 times. That's not a good thing for Ryan Tannehill to be doing. They should have done this formula for Stafford and the Rams that wild card weekend against the Cardinals. That would have made a lot more sense, especially if Derrick Henry's played. And I think Derrick Henry played great today. He had some negative plays there and there, but he wasn't the reason this team lost the game. Tannehill was the reason you lost this game today. If you're a Tennessee Titan fan, you're pissed off. You want this guy to be gone. You want Russell Wilson. You want Deshaun Watson. You want Brian Flores to be the next GM, which I'll get into that in a moment right now because there's reports going around saying right now that there could be a new possible GM upcoming right now for the Giants because they just got rid of their they got it. I'm sorry, not for the Giants, for I believe for somebody else. I meant to say for the Giants because I'll get into that in just a second. Right now, that scenario that played out today for Tennessee today was just awful. It was just terrible. It was not a good scenario. If you're not happy about this scenario playing out right now at this point today, if you're Tennessee today, you want Tannehill to be gone. What has this guy proven to you in the last? Because I will tell you this right now. He did help you out in that 2019-2020 run. You almost went to the Super Bowl with him and Derrick Henry. Great. You were a one-and-done team the year after. And now here, you're a one-and-done team today. This is 2 straight home playoff losses that you had today. That's all I'm going to say. It's 2 horrible playoff losses that you had. Something's got to change here. And Mike Vrabel is not the problem here. The quarterback scenario here is the problem here. But I don't know. I mean, are you going to get Russell Wilson? It just, I don't know. To me, it's one of these scenarios where I have to think right now in my mind that this is a scenario where unless you're going to be successful without Tannehill, that's all I'm going to say because this guy was your choke artist today. He was the reason you guys lost the playoffs. And I said to myself, Joe Burrow is more of a playoff quarterback. He's more of a playoff quarterback than Tannehill is. Sorry, I'm just getting a text right now from my mom right in the middle of my podcast. I don't know why the heck she's calling me so much. Hold on a second, guys. This is a pain in the ass person, let me tell you. I might edit this out. I might just keep it in here. I don't know. I'm about to move on to my next topic anyway. Anyway, so enough of that game because that game was, for anybody today who thought that Tennessee was going to win today, I'm thinking to myself, you put your trust into the wrong quarterback. That's all I'm going to say. You put your trust into the wrong quarterback, and you got hosts. That's exactly what happened here. The Celtics. I will move on from NFL playoff. I will get back into NFL topics in just a little bit right now, but we got some NBA business to get into here, which was the Celtics last night blowing it at home against the Portland Trail Blazers last night. They lost 109-105. I don't know what the heck just happened to my computer here. That's weird. There we go. I just couldn't see myself for a minute there. My start-up screen, that you know how you hit start and you basically get the option of what app you want to click onto. Well, that just popped out of nowhere. So I'm having some little technical difficulties, but it's because of this Wi-Fi in this house is not that great. Anyway, but Jason Tatum in this game was the sole reason why this team was just bad in the very end of this game. Too many three-point shots from Tatum again. He was 0 for 6 for 3, 8 for 19 in the game, 27 points. I was just having a debate with my coworker about this. Again, shout out to Jordan, by the way, Jordan Miller, who works at Lowe's with me. We were debating about this on whether or not, or actually he was debating with his brother, and we sort of went into a debate, but we actually agreed on one thing, that Tatum needs to go from this Boston Celtic team. Brown in this game was not that great either. He was 7 for 20, 2 for 7 for threes in a game. This Celtic team in this game overall was 11 for 37 in this game with three-point shooting. Horford, who I think is usually relied as a three-point shooter for a power forward, 0 for 3 in this game. Schroeder 1 for 5. I mean, these are all pathetic stats. And there's no excuse. This Portland Trailblazer team sucks. They're 19-26 for a reason. You should be able to beat this team at home. There's no Damian Lillard. McCollum is just a piece there that just happens to be there. You know, he's trying to stay on the team so they don't trade him away because he don't really want to leave Portland. He was 5 for 10 last night, 24 points in the game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists in this game. What's the excuse here, guys? What's the excuse? Why are you losing to this pathetic team at home? And Simmons the other night, who was 38 minutes in the game, he had 8 for 17, 4 for 8 in the game. He had 21 points. Nurkic had 29 points in the game. 1 for 3. Allow a big guy to shoot a 3? Really? 9 for 16 overall in his game last night. This Trailblazer team, for what they have for a record, is a hell of a lot better than you are. That's a scary thought right there, that the Boston Celtics suck, but the Portland Trailblazers might be better, and they're 7 games below 500. And I said this the other day on my extra the other day. Rick Grossbachek loves Tatum and loves Brown and treats them like it's his children. And he's up their asses so much that his head might as well be so far up there right now. That's how far up his ass he is. That he's just too far up there. He's too far gone. He's too much invested into these two guys who really are not a good pairing. They're not that great at all. I don't see what what the story is here. I mean, are we trying to have a Lamar Odom, Kobe Bryant scenario here in Boston? Is that what we're trying to compare these two to? Except, you know, Bryant had a much better future than Lamar Odom had. No disrespect to the great Rhode Island graduate native from URI. I mean, really, let's be honest here for a minute. I mean, Tatum's is not your answer. You can easily get a trade for him. Everyone's saying keep Tatum and get rid of Brown. But here's my question. Is Brown really the problem? Or is Tatum really the problem? I'd say Tatum's the real problem here, and you get rid of the president and you get rid of the GM and Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens is completely useless as the GM. He doesn't even want to be the GM of this team. He had no choice because Danny Ainge was out the door. This was literally falling onto Stevens' lap, this job. He didn't earn the job. He didn't work for it. He wants to be a coach, but he does not want to coach this team. That's the difference. But Rick Grossbachek does not want to be a president and GM at the same time. That's the only reason why Stevens has this job. And I'm pretty sure he can be a president and a GM at the same time, too. I'm pretty sure he can be. It's not hard. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure this out. I'm not really going to get into Gamecast here, but or a Gamecast recap of this game. But I will say this, though. In the fourth quarter, they completely shut the bed. They did. That second half was all Portland. Especially when you miss 20 consecutive three-point shots, which the Celtics did do that last night, late in the fourth. I mean, this might as well have been a repeat of what happened in the Eastern Conference Finals game, where they missed like 25 or 30 in a row against the Cavaliers, and that's when LeBron James was in Cleveland at the time. So there you go. I mean, this was a pathetic performance last night at home at the Garden. Not a good look. Not a good look. All right. at least I got that negative impact out of the way about the Boston sports area. Now I'm going to refocus myself into a Boston Bruins thing and how the Bruins redeemed themselves Thursday with the win over the Capitals 4-3. Tuuka in this game was good. I'm not going to really say he was overall great in this game. McAvoy's late goal actually gave his team the victory. McAvoy had a goal. Pastrnak had 2 goals in the game. Bergeron did not have a goal in the game, but he was good defensively. Game opened up with a 1-0 game, 1-0 score from Kotsanta for the Washington Capitals. I might have just botched that name. Got an assist from Ovechkin, his 29th of the year, and Rozemski, his 10th of the year. Pastrnak got a goal, his 17th of the year. Taylor Hall got his 18th assist, along with Hula, who got his 10th. Pastrnak got another score again on a power play, and Rozemski got the assist. DeBrusk got the goal after Elliott scored his goal late in the second period for the Capitals. DeBrusk opened the period with a goal unassisted, and McAvoy had a late power play goal as he got an assist from DeBrusk and Hula. Backstrom got this goal for the Capitals to try and tie it up and try to get the win, but McAvoy just put it away towards the end. And the Bruins get the win 4-3. I will say this about Tuukka Rask. I did go on a little too hard on him. He was a little bit better in this game. I didn't think overall he was really worth my time here. With as far as the saves go and everything else like this, he had an 82.4% save percentage. It's getting better. It's not the same Tuukka Rask, in my opinion. He's not at the same game he was at in 2019. He's really not. He's not motivated. I'm looking at 2020 Tuukka Rask here when I look at this team. I got to be honest. An unmotivated guy. He didn't care. He's going to give you some stats there and there. Not overall great stats. He allowed 17 shots, had 14 saves out of them. I mean, he was terrible in the game against the Hurricanes, though. I don't know if Washington is overall not that great anymore. Ovechkin's just aging, which I think is a little bit of both. I think Ovechkin's been there for a long time. Who knows? This could be his last year on the ice, Ovechkin. As far as Tuukka goes, I'm saying he's washed up here, and I'm going to leave you guys up to this question right now. You can respond to me on my Instagram. You can respond to me on Facebook. Is Tuukka Rask washed up? I say he is. I say he's all washed up. He doesn't have the motivation to push to a deep playoff run. I'm telling you right now, you bring back Swayman, you'll be fine. We were fine without him. We were fine with him, with Swayman on the ice, to be exact. We're fine without Tuukka. In my opinion, give the kid a chance. That's all I got to say. Because at the end of the day, when you really have to look at it right now, and I think that's the problem with the Boston Bruins here. They don't treat every game like it's important in the postseason, but they do here in the regular season for fantasy stats. And I've noticed this because every playoff run they've been on since 2016, that they've relied so much on their goaltending right now if their offense just doesn't show up. And most of the time, they won't even show up if they're already down 3-0, let's just say. Their offense just can't overcome a 3-point deficit or a 4-point deficit. I mean, think of it. I'm trying to think. What was the last Bruin game that they came back from a 5-point deficit? They just haven't done it. And there's times where I've seen teams do this, and they come out aggressive, start shooting the puck right out of the gate. This Bruin team, I don't think is that aggressive. I just don't think they are. There's certain times where you get embarrassed at home. I mean, they barely skipped it against a Capital team that I think honestly is just. They're good. They're part of it. They should be in the conversation for a playoff run, absolutely. But are they a Stanley Cup contender? I don't think they are. The Bruins are more of a Stanley Cup contender right now, according to some people, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it with Tuukka Rask. I don't see him. Even if they have Tuukka Rask back up, he's not going to want that. I mean, he played decently against. He didn't even play against the Flyers today. He was a backup for Ullman. But when he got a chance to basically make an impact here in a big situation against the Hurricanes, what did he do? He shit himself. This game here, you're lucky enough to even get the win today. You should be thanking McAvoy for that. You got a team today that didn't shoot that much. That's what happened today in this game today. You got a team that didn't shoot that much today. They didn't put their hearts into this game, and they just didn't care really. I mean, I just thought I saw more of a team right now that was willing to afford a loss here and then get one later on in the long run. And the Bruins, the question is right now, can they get a good momentum to where they can play this team early, get some good goaltending going, and then get your offense to be aggressive right out of the gate. Let's say like 30 or 40 shots in the playoffs. Let's see like 20 of them in the first game. Let's just see that. Because we've seen a lot of sloppiness when it comes to this team, which does affect their goaltending now because it does lead to a goal later on for the other team. But I will say this though. A lot of pressure is put on so much for the goalie here and this whole thing. I got to be honest. When I watched the Boston Bruins playoff run, their offense was more aggressive. Their offense took it to the other teams. They were able to score some goals, and Tim Thomas had an easy time making some saves. It wasn't all about the goaltending, despite how Tim Thomas played. And there was some nights where the Bruins offense just, they were there, but they were not the reason why they won the game. And there was times where I look at Tim Thomas and I say to myself, he makes some excellent saves. Tuuka Rask is like trying to become that Tim Thomas or the other goalies of the Boston Bruins in the past. He's not at that level. You got a Stanley Cup by default because you were a bench player. And maybe he thinks that he can do it again by leeching off this team, getting a Stanley Cup, and just sitting there and just hoping for the best, really. Instead of him putting himself out there to do it. I think that's what he wanted. I think I figured it out now with Tuuka Rask now what his deal is. Because today, he had a convincing game today. Like, they only shot 17 goals. He saved 14. Oh, that's great. That's an 82.4% save percentage there, right? That's the common theme here for this guy. But I just think to myself, really? That's why Bruin fans are so happy. They should be excited about this. I'm not excited about this. What challenge do you really have today? So far, we've seen a less aggressive Capital team today in the month of January beat the Bruins, or lose to the Bruins. Sorry, not beat. They didn't beat the Bruins, but you get what I'm saying, though. I mean, they were able to get some shots in there with them. Some of them hit, some of them didn't. But should I feel positive about the Bruins right now? No. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of like concerned about this because Tuuka Rask should have made a huge statement today and actually call these Capital players out. I feel like this was just exhibition in the month of January when it came to this game today, or when it came to the game on Thursday. They're playing tomorrow. I believe they are playing tomorrow. They're playing tomorrow against the Winnipeg Jets, actually, that happened today. I'm sorry. That happened today. They won 3-2 today. I will get a little preview on that game. Pasternak had a power play goal another late goal once again. Started out with Hackins with getting his fourth goal of the year. Steen got his second goal of the season for the Bruins. They tied it up at 1-1. Kopp got a goal. It's 2-1. Doyle got a goal late early in the second period, and late in the third, Pasternak got a power play goal, which was his 19th. Marchand got his assist, 24th assist, and Krzyzewski got his 14th assist. So the Bruins got the win. Their 24th win of the year. And let's see what Rask did today, because I was highlighting a Thursday game. Much better today. 90.6% save percentage in that game. That's the Winnipeg Jets. I'm sorry. Rask had 24 shots at him today, 22 saves. Much better today. I will say that, but I still think Rask is all washed up. I think this is it for him. I mean, he's proven it. I mean, he's proven against, the Winnipeg Jets. They're not really that much of a team to look at. Are they a proven team right now? I don't think they are. You play a team today that was basically trapped with COVID protocol bullcrap. Not really much to say there. They haven't really played a lot of games. They're way behind on the schedule realm. In fact, most of the games are being made up. See, as of right now, I meant to get into this. But the Bruins have some games coming up right now in the month, I believe, of February. They have 11 games here now as official right now. They have some games now on the 12th, 15th, 17th, 19th, 21st, 24th. There were points where they weren't going to have any games because of the Olympics. and they were going to stop here like right around the 8th or the 10th, I believe. So all these games were just made as of right now. So they have games against the Senators, the Rangers, the Islanders, all on the road. Then back at Ottawa. Colorado's going to come into town. They're playing at Seattle at the Kraken. They're at San Jose and they're at the Kings. This right here was going to be the next game after the Olympics, which they start on February 3rd. But yeah, today the Bruins today I thought did much better today. Hall's doing pretty good at the left wing. DeBrus is doing pretty well at the left wing as well. Bergeron was good today. Coyle was good today. Bruins overall were good today. I got to be honest. The Bruins were really strong today against them. I didn't get to watch the game, obviously. I'm going to give you highlight by highlight here. I'm just going to give you the updated scores right now as I watch the videos on my phone as I'm looking at the screen here, looking at two different screens. So I've got a phone here, my Chromebook here. I'm looking at everything. So I got everything right now. The Packer game starts in about 10 minutes. I might miss kickoff right now because I'm a little dedicated to doing this podcast. I mean, I'm kind of in a rush too. I'm trying to meet my friend right now at Bo's Billiards to play some pool, and while watching this playoff game. So I'm gonna try my best to focus at playing pool than watching the game. So I know I shouldn't be doing that, but I haven't been at Bo's in like forever. So I'm gonna do that. A little bit more news on college basketball today. Villanova got the win over Georgetown today, 85-74. I'm going to give you some scores right now. Texas Tech beat West Virginia 78-65. Kentucky lost to Auburn today. Auburn, number 2 ranked in the country, 80-71. Texas beat Oklahoma State 56-51. Baylor beat Oklahoma at Soonerville 65-51. Kansas able to escape Kansas State, their rival, 78-75. TCU upsetting Iowa State in Iowa State, 59-44. 15th-ranked Iowa State getting shocked at home at the upset in Iowa State. TCU by like 13-3 as of right now. Iowa State drops to 14-5. Big upset as far as the weekend goes right now for college basketball. Duke earlier today beating Syracuse 79-59. They had a 20-point win. Griffin hits 5 threes as the number 6 Duke Blue Devils. He was 9 for 10 in this game. AJ Griffin was, by the way, in this game. This was a very shocking game by the Duke. I thought this game was going to be a lot closer than I thought it would be, but it wasn't. Griffin was 5 for 9 for 3, 15 points. Moore was 15 points in the game. Bontro, 15 points in the game. Williams had 15 points. Everybody had 15 points in this game. This was a very good Duke Blue Devil team. Let me tell you, dangerous team. They are the number 6 seed right now in the country right now. So that'll be interesting now going forward. Right now we have Tennessee beating LSU right now at 56-45. I got an itch in my back. Anyway, so that's that. I gave you my hockey, basketball, college basketball, NFL highlight. I don't think I really got anything else to talk about right now at this point. Although I do. There's some stuff we got to get into right now, a little throwback segments for the show. Just in a little bit right now, I'm just going to try to pull up the information. This is what I was talking about before. So the New York Giants right now are trying to hire a GM. A lot of you are questioning right now if it's going to be Dan Quinn or Brian Flores. Now, here's why I'm bringing this up, because the other GM is no more. The guy that was a complete goofball, that they got rid of Odell. They got rid of most of their players. That really basically ruined Saquon Barkley's life because he keeps getting injured constantly and he can't get out of his own way really down there in New York. So there you go. People are wondering right now whether or not they are going to hire Flores or Dan Quinn. A lot of you are asking right now whether or not that they are next in line. Here's my opinion. Brian Flores as the GM here is your best bet. I don't see Dan Quinn as your GM. As a matter of fact, I don't even see this guy even really being a GM for anybody in the near future. Head coach, maybe. Defensive coordinator right now, probably. I can see it be the next defensive coordinator for the Ravens because Don Watkin, who was the defensive coordinator for the Ravens today, got fired today. So I can see that happening right now. I'll get a little more on that one. That was a shocking firing right now. And I guess I'm not sure why the firing happened today. It was kind of random out of the blue. When I first heard the story, I couldn't believe it. This was the most stunning firing other than Brian Flores getting fired. So the Ravens made the firing on Friday with Don Wink Martindale. So yes, I think of the name right. I did not botch the name. I thought it was did I say Watkin? I might have made a mistake on the name the first time, but he did get fired. Baltimore announced the news with a statement from head coach John Harbaugh, who said that he and Martindale have agreed to move forward in separate directions. After several productive conversations, Don and I have agreed to move forward with a separate direction. I just said that. We have a great run on defense, and I'm very proud of what has been accomplished and the work he has done. Don has a major contributor to the success of our defense since 2012, and especially since he became defense coordinator 4 years ago. He has done a great job. So I'm not going to go on here and read about that quote. But I will say this, though. That is a wrong firing. If they had one crap bag of a year defensively because half your defensive players were injured. And you had nobody else. What did you give Martindale? You didn't really give him much of anything. What's he supposed to do? Beg Marcus Peters to come back from his ACL injury? Beg Marlon Humphrey to suck it up and play through injury like Bruce Arians does with Tristan Wirfs and Antonio Brown? What's he supposed to do? This was the wrong firing. This made absolutely no sense. This guy's been around. This guy might as well have been a pioneer for that Raven defense in the 2010 decades here. And really, he was if it wasn't for him, that defense would have never won the Super Bowl against the 49ers in the Superdome 8 years ago. That would have never happened, or almost 9 years ago. It's 9 years ago now at this point. But again, I don't understand the firing. That to me is a weird one, especially with Brian Flores. That's more of a major blow for a franchise, I think. The Ravens, not so much. But, I mean, is it going to be a major blow for the defensive side of the ball? Oh, yeah. I mean, they'll figure out if they get Dan Quinn to come around, because Dan Quinn's not going to get a head coaching job. He's not. He's not going to get a GM job. He's not going to get a head coaching job. It's not going to happen. Dan Quinn, look, his glory days was with the Seattle Seahawks because he had players that was part of the Pete Carroll era. He just happened to be there. He's not this mastermind because he's just not. And I got to be honest right now. He wasn't even a mastermind for that offense with Matt Hasselbeck and Marshawn Lynch. He wasn't. He wasn't a mastermind for Russell Wilson's game plan. He invested into the future of that team. And Russell Wilson couldn't do no wrong. Because as long as the defense does their part, then Russell Wilson looks good. That's how Pete Carroll treated Russell Wilson. He never really, he looked at him as a franchise quarterback, but he didn't look at him as the face of that team. He's just on the franchise, and he happens to be a franchise quarterback. That's all Pete Carroll looked at because he was focused on the Legion of Boom. Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor. Dan Quinn wasn't a milestone big-time name as a coordinator at the time when he was on this team. He just happened to be there. He happened to be part of that investment. That's all Dan Quinn was. And when Dan Quinn went to the Falcons, what the hell happened to the Falcons? Oh, that's right. They sucked. They were terrible. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. They couldn't stop a little child riding on a bicycle. That's how bad the Falcons' defense was. Dan Quinn is going to end up being a defense coordinator for the Ravens. Watch. That will be a raw deal for the Ravens. And that might even get John Harbaugh even fired. Because if they miss the playoffs again next year with Lamar Jackson, they have Dan Quinn as a defensive coordinator, they're certainly not going to fire Dan Quinn. They might just fire John Harbaugh. They might fire both of them after one season together. That might happen for the Ravens. Who knows? Because think about it. Lamar Jackson has not won a playoff. Oh, I actually shouldn't say that because he did win a playoff game with the Ravens. But they were one and done after that, though. You get what I'm saying? Lamar Jackson right now is 1-3 as a playoff quarterback in the league. Let me put it this way. Anything above a one-and-done season the next year for the Ravens with Dan Quinn and John Harbaugh together is a success for both of these guys. But if they're let's say they're one and done or they miss the playoffs with those two together, they're both going to be gone. They're both going to be gone. There's no other way of looking at it. I mean, it does sound insane when you think about it, really. It does. This was a stunning firing as far as I'm concerned. This was a very stunning turn of events now going forward with that game, with that team. New York Giants named Joe Schoen of the Buffalo Bills as their new GM. Joe Schoen, who was an assistant general manager for the Buffalo Bills, now the general manager now for the Bills. Did a pretty good job down there in Buffalo. I will say that. Hopefully he does a better job for the Giants. Honestly, I hope the Giants just crumble because I hate the freaking New York Giants. I think that team is a crappy team. Even though Bill Belichick made that team relevant when he was a defense coordinator there a long time ago. Who knows? Who knows? That was a good signing. The good signing though. It really came out of the blue. I'm thinking to myself like that's a random hiring for GM. I would have never imagined that. But Brian Flores right now as a GM at this point is still in the works. I think I don't know if that would be better for Deshaun Watson now at this point to be a GM because now the question now is where does Watson go from here? Does he get traded? Does he get released? What happens? Does he retire? I have a feeling he retires. I don't know why. I just feel like he's so disgruntled at this point with this whole thing. He might just end his career that quickly. He might just fizz out and just retire quietly. Schoen is a 42-year-old general manager now for the Giants. Throughout the search right now, this was according to some reports right now by as they replaced David Gettleman when they were interviewing. This is what the Giants team had to say. Throughout our search, Joe impressed us with his ability to communicate a progressive and comprehensive vision of our team. And this is according to John Mara. This is what John Mara had said. His philosophy and collaborative approach to building a roster and coaching staff aligned with what we were looking for in a general manager. So they're looking for a guy who can put things together. He did a good job with it in Buffalo with Sean McDermott, Brian Dable, the offensive coordinator, Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator. They've got a really good thing going in Buffalo. And it was all thanks to Schoen and the general manager down there. So Schoen got the nod over San Francisco 49ers assistant, got the nod over Adam Peters, and executive director for the Kansas City Chiefs, players personnel, Ryan Poles. So they have more confidence in Schoen. Great. That's all I got to say. That's great. That's a great thing to hear. And honestly, you don't really hear too many stories like this. You don't. But, it's good to hear stories like this because it's like, now you got a guy now who's got a chance now to make a name for himself now in the general manager position. Could get the award for the Giants next year because if they get a good system down there next year, a good roster next year, offensively, defensively, and all of it's put together, it makes a great season for the team. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. Jim Caldwell was turned down on 2 interviews, requests from 2 teams. He was turned down from an interview here. Here's what the report was as of right now. This is according to this is a report from Larry Brown Sports. I'm just trying to pull up the article, and my computer's not going to do it for me. Here we go. This is from Larry Brown Sports by Gary Papeek. Caldwell was viewed as a strong candidate landing a head coaching position this offseason. His latest report actions certainly seem to bear that out as well. Caldwell declined interview requests from the Las Vegas Raiders and the Minnesota Vikings. So he declined these things. He wasn't declined himself, but he declined them. So he turned down the interview request. In my opinion, I think Jim Caldwell just had enough of these things. He had enough of being part of the conversation. I don't know if he's motivated to coaching, really, honestly. I don't think he is. It's like Hugh Jackson. I don't think he's motivated in coaching anybody either. I just think he just wants to just kick back, retire with the millions of dollars that he got from coaching from years ago, and there you go. Just, raking in the new year. Just raking the new year doing nothing. And I think, honestly, look, it is what it is. You hear stuff like this, and it's like, it's not surprising. Caldwell didn't seem motivated after he was coaching the Lions or coaching anybody else after that. And that will do it to you because you're coaching the Detroit Lions. What do you expect? The Lions suck. They absolutely blow. That was his last coaching tenure before he got fired, really. He got fired from the coach as well. And I don't think he should have gotten fired. That's another thing, too. I remember when Caldwell was coaching for the Colts, the year after they went to or actually the year before or a couple years before. He was coaching Super Bowl 41 or 44. Sorry, not 41, 44. And they lost the Super Bowl that year. The following year, they won the AFC South. They go to the wild card weekend. They're 1 and done in the playoffs. And then the next year, Peyton Manning just happens to get neck surgery and sits out the rest of the year. And Caldwell gets hosed because Jim Sorge, who was told to tank by the ownership to tank and go 2-14, and Caldwell gets fired. I never understood that. Okay, I never really understood that. I never really understood why Irsay fired Caldwell in the first place. If you want my honest opinion, he could have taken luck to the playoffs like 5 different times in his career. He could have been a playoff quarterback every single year. Instead, he was stuck with Chuck Pagano and granted Bruce Arians, who I think was a fill-in because Pagano got cancer. But Caldwell should have never gotten fired from that job in the first place. Instead, he had to coach the Lions, and granted, he got Matthew Stafford to the playoffs in 2016. But I just don't understand. I never really understood why he got fired. If you want my honest opinion, they should have taken Chuck Pagano in for 2 years, see what he did there. And I think that team would have gone 0-16, and Pagano would have gotten fired for sure. Because this guy does not know what he's doing. He doesn't. But Caldwell, he has a sharp mind around himself. He was coaching Peyton Manning at one point in his career. Now, with the Colts a 10-6, would the Colts would have been a better team in 2010, 2011 season? I think so. They could have been a much better team. But, they got homed by Mark Sanchez and Rex Ryan in a revenge game in the Lucas Oil Stadium. What do you expect? You can't expect that to be any different. I'm just surprised they turned him down, though. That to me, I would have never turned down. If I was Caldwell, I would get back in there. There's no reason why this guy should not be motivated to play. I'm sorry. There's just no reason for that. So the Bears this week, Chicago Bears signed a defensive back named Lamar Jackson off of reserve future contracts. This was they're planning on signing him right now. He's a defensive back. When I first read this article, my first thought was, wait a minute, did Lamar Jackson get released by the Ravens? And it turned out it was a defensive player from out of Nebraska. I guess he was a free agent, one of those undrafted free agents they signed. Not really much of a big name there. Anyway, a couple of days ago, baseball had their lockout. The MLBPA presented a counteroffer to owners during the in-person bargaining sessions. So they are in talks again since the lockout. So not much has happened there so far. It seems like the lockout still happen. Lockout is continuing to happen. There's been a lot of stuff right now getting into that lockout. Hopefully they get spring training going pretty soon. They have about 4 weeks until that's supposed to start. I don't think it's going to start right away, and even if it does, I think they're going to shorten spring training this year if they do have a baseball season. But anyway, we got some more news. Former Major League pitcher Sergio Marte, this is according to CBS Sports by Ryan R.J. Anderson, convicted of murdering a child in Mexico, sentenced to 50 years in prison. Once a Major League Baseball pitcher star, now being sentenced to 50 years, Sergio Marte, who appeared in parts of 8 big league seasons, was sentenced to 50 years in prison this week after being found guilty of raping and murdering then romantic partner's 22-month-old infant. This guy, he could have been so much better in the major league. He was continuing to pitch today. If he could have done so many things outside of baseball if he retired. But this guy has got some problems. He's got a little bit of screw loose now at this point. And the autopsy revealed the child died of hypothalamic shock or loss of body fluids caused by Merte here. This was disgusting. He's also ordered to pay more than $66,000 of restitution damages. This is disgusting to the victim's family. This was disgusting. Merte, by the way, who will turn 41 years old next month, committed the heinous acts back in July of 2020. So this is during the pandemic. This is I guess now technically the pandemic's not even over yet. But as of today, they did announce he was arrested and sentenced to 50 years in prison. I didn't want to bring up any negativity here on my show, but when I first read this article, I'm not going to give you the full article here. This guy's a scumbag. An absolute freaking scumbag. And I hope they do sentence him to 50 years. I hope there's no parole or any chance of bail. It's just this guy deserves to rot. He deserves to rot in jail for what he did. Awful, disgusting human being. I think they should take his name off the website for all the big league teams. You want to talk about a guy who I don't know what he was thinking. To a romantic partner's child, a girl, by the way, who was 22 years old. Something is wrong with that picture. That's not normal. That's disturbing. Anyway, pretty disgusting, if you ask me. It makes me want to vomit. I mean, you can't even trust anybody anymore. You got these players you look up to in the sports world right now, and they do this kind of stuff. You disassociate from that permanently. Now, Sergio Muerte was not really a big-time pitcher. He wasn't a Hall of Fame-worthy pitcher. He wasn't really much of a star to begin with. But this is a guy who's just a punk, arrogant punk, who takes advantage of a young girl in her 20s. If I'm that girl, I stay the hell away from that guy forever. Don't try to contact him in prison, nothing. That girl now is no longer her mother anymore now. She lost her child. Horrible day. Horrible last 22 hours from that article came out 22 hours ago. That was a very disgusting turn of events. So we also got this awesome sad news today for it's not really a sad, but it's kind of like a sad but relief kind of story. Arnold Schwarzenegger was in a car crash. One was injured. He is fine. Former governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, was in a violent, serious car accident on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles, California. Just trying to get the rest of the article. When I try to get the article to go up right now, for whatever reason, it only shows me half the article. So what happens is I try to click on it, and it starts to refresh the page, and I just hate when it does that. Police told this was told by the Los Angeles Times. This was coming out on the HuffPost. This was written by Mary Pappenfuss. Is it Pappenfuss? Pappenfuss. Okay, Pappenfuss. P-A-P. It sounds like a no, but anyway. Schwarzenegger's GMC Yukon SUV rolled over a red Toyota Prius, and the female driver that was in the car was injured. Police said the SUV continued to roll into a second car, a Porsche. A total of 4 cars that were involved in the accident. What the heck is Arnold Schwarzenegger doing? That's all I got to say. What are you doing, guy? Driving an SUV, and you're like rolling over 4 cars. This guy must have had like a freaking episode where he thought he was in a movie or something. He was in a Terminator movie. Jesus. The Prius driver suffered minor injuries and was taken to a nearby hospital by ambulance, according to the Times. Yeah. Oh, I just lost the article. I don't know what the hell just happened there. I don't know why I just refreshed the page on me. But this is just the lesson learned here. You should not be driving like this. Not driving not driving to the point where your SUV was rolling over people. That right there is scary enough. Imagine you go to a car accident like that, and you got a car that rolls on you like that. That'd be terrifying. To have a SUV like that, a big giant SUV roll over you. That's a pretty scary thing. Schwarzenegger, by the way, is 74 years old. Actually, court at 4:00 p.m. Crash occurred shortly after Schwarzenegger left his nearby home. TMZ was also on this. Noted that he was photographed at the scene with longtime pal and body by Jake trainer Jake Steinfeld. A witness told TMZ that the crash was so dramatic that it looked like a movie stunt. It might as well been. Might as well been a movie stunt. That's a pretty scary thought. Right there of Arnold Schwarzenegger getting into a car accident. Neither alcohol or drugs are suspected as a factor in this collision, said by a LAPD statement. All parties remain at the scene. So it's fine. I mean, I didn't expect Arnold Schwarzenegger to be doing drugs at this point, at the stage of his life that he's in, or any kind of like alcohol. He's 75 years old. I mean, I think he's wise enough to know not to be drinking and driving or smoking weed or snorting up cocaine. I just can't picture Arnold Schwarzenegger at 74 years old doing that. That to me, I just can't see happening. Neither is trainer either. I can't see his trainer doing that either. So we'll see what happens now going forward with that. So that is that's it for that. We're gonna have a throwback segment now with the Patriots Dynasty. I wanted to put my main focus on this because to me it's interesting. I kind of did think about this a while back. I figured we would bring it up now at this point. Might as well look back in the history of posting stories that I did have on here. This is dating back now. I'm going to look at this throwback now segment now. This is going back to January 21st, 1994, 28 years ago, where the Patriots was purchased by Robert Kraft and the Patriots by Robert Kraft and his son. Well, his son wasn't, I don't think, was around at that time, but Robert Kraft did make the purchase for the Patriots Dynasty. It led to the following here. It led to the most winningest pro sports team since 1994. It also led to here's your accomplishments right now with that time that Kraft's been on the team. Kraft's been on the team now for 28 years. Think about that for a minute. 19 division titles, 10 conference championships, and 6 Super Bowl appearances. And leading to that next segment right now, and one of the most classic things that led to that dynasty was a tuck rule game that took place back in January 19th, 2002. That was 20 years ago, 3 days ago, to be exact, 20 years and 3 days, where Tom Brady was stripped the ball by Charles Woodson. It was ruled an incomplete pass. It led to a overtime game. It led to the pass from Brady to Wiggins down the field. Led to a game-winning field goal. Patriots win 16-13 over the Raiders. Anyway, so it did lead to that, and it did eventually lead to the Patriots winning the Super Bowl that year. So that was so that's that. So that was at the final Foxborough Stadium, where you had David Patton, when you had Troy Brown, when you had Wiggy, when you had Adam Vinatieri. Just everything about the Patriots dynasty. Tom Brady's first official playoff game in his career. Just everything about that, you knew you saw something in Brady. You knew you saw something in Tom Brady. Now, the next year, they missed the playoffs the following year. But they did win 2 more Vince Lombardi trophies after that one. And Brady was able to win 4 more Vince Lombardi trophies, hoping to win his 8th one this year with the Bucs. So he won his 7th last year with the Bucs. This year he'll win his 8th one with the Bucs. Who knows? But then again, I did pick I'm so torn because I don't know whether or not I want Brady to win his 8th this year. Or should I go back to that pick that I had at the beginning of the year, or should I go to the pick that I have now, which is the Packers and Bills, with possibly the Bills beating the Packers? I mean, I did have Green Bay winning it, but at the same time, Buffalo's defense is too scary. It's hard for me to pick at this point. But yeah, bottom line, that happens.
Send them out here. Don't blink. If you're a blinker, cut your eyelids off.
You blink and cut your eyelids off. I don't know why that audio just played. That was my time before that AFC wildcard game last week against the Kansas City Chiefs. If you blink, they'll cut your eyelids off. That's what he was mentioning about the Kansas City Chiefs in that game. They might as well cut your eyelid. They might as well have cut the eyelids of the Pittsburgh Steelers, because they had to watch what was happening to their team as they were getting crushed by 20. Anyway. But yeah. Anyway, so that is it for the throwback segments, and that is really all I can think of for throwback segments right now that happened 20 years ago. But now we're in 2022. Imagine that. But I am signing off. It's been an hour and 3 minutes. I got nothing really else to say right now. I'm going to go watch some more football. But I might as well leave this before I go. If anyone else is not, people probably are watching the game. The Packers are up 7-0 as of right now. They are up with about 6:45 to go in the first quarter. Aaron Rodgers had their first drive down the field. Agent was able to march in for a touchdown from 6 yards out. They had a good drive going. It started out 10-play, 69-yard drive. It started out with Jones running out the middle for 4 yards. Rodgers passing it to Adams for 14. Aaron Jones getting a 19-yard reception. Then a 10-yard reception from Rodgers to Devontae Adams again. St. Brown got it in there for 1 yard. Bosa on the tackle. And a few plays later, it led to from the 6-yard line, led to a touchdown run. So there you go. So there's your update so far. I will give you more on this game. I might even give you basically the same notes here from this one particular drive when I do the review for all these games on Tuesday. And Mike will be back here on Tuesday. Don't worry. don't worry. I know you're probably sick of me listening to my voice, but let's be honest. You might love my voice. You might hate my voice. You might like Mike's voice. You might hate his voice. I don't know. But I won't be alone next week. And for sure, this freaking light won't be an issue either. This light looks terrible. Like the way it's coming in, it's like I hate the lighting in here. Anyway, I'm doing what I can. Anyway, so I am signing off right now. You can follow me on Instagram, Joseph_Edward_Olivo. You can follow me on Facebook, Joseph Olivo. Like I said, Snapchat, JOlivoSports123. Like I say, I never use that thing. So, I mean, I might use it sometimes. Sometimes I don't. I mean, if you want to, send me a friend request on Snapchat, great. If you want a friend request me on Facebook, great. I'll follow you back. Don't worry. I'm not one of these celebrities. I'm not one of these people who say send me a friend request and I go thank you for following me, but I don't follow you back. I'm not like that. I'm not like that at all. And if you want to email me any questions at all, if you want to put some stuff in the comments section, you can do that. My email is joeolivo@bostonsports@gmail.com. Should know the lingo by now. Anyway, so I will sign off and I will be here on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, guys.